Ian, we have to discuss a certain event that happened last week on Wednesday, August 5th. The Intellivision Amico held their, I guess, big online YouTube video press event. They hyped it up for August 4th for almost a month. They had two humorous, like sketch videos, that's funny, comedy videos to promote August 4th. We're going to do the event August 4th. Me and Ian sat here 10 minutes before the podcast started and saw that it was canceled. We would discuss it obviously last week. Didn't know why at the time. It wasn't revealed till later. So they pushed it another day to August 5th and held the event here. So we're gonna talk about the Intellivision Amico event. My just general impressions before we dive in deep dive. Well, first, it was a mistake to cancel it. They lost some buzz. CNET was supposedly going to help promote it that Tuesday, and
CNET seemed a little salty about it in the after.
CNET did not have favorable coverage of it.
No,
a day or two later of the event.
I don't know that they would have if they had been on time, but they definitely seemed a little. I think they even mentioned in the article that they were kind of like,
"What the hell is this?"
Yeah, what happened?
It's unprofessional, and it's probably. I'm going to say. I don't feel bad that we're covering it after everyone else, because now that all the press is in on the covers of the Amico, there was little to no fanfare about this event at all in terms of positivity. Most of the headlines just said, based upon what Tom Talrico said, we're pushing this back, delayed to April 15th because of COVID. That was the headline on like Hollywood Reporter and a lot of these sites. They didn't say, this looks fantastic. No one did that. Except for a Best Buy Canada blog, which was basically a PR fluff piece saying things about games that aren't even probably in development yet, which we'll get into. That was the only positivity I really saw in terms of the major. I saw like Kyle Orland, game journalist, basically say what you say, like, who is this for? Like I can't believe this is a thing. So what we're about to say is now the general consensus, not just what we were purported to be haters for expressing over this, is like, this is falling flat. And that's probably what I'll say the most, is that this was probably fell flat and was a boring presentation. That's my overview of this. Yeah,
I didn't watch it when it was live. I had to work.
Thank God. It was an hour and 20.
It was hard to get through it, and I'm going to try to be nice, but it was hard to get through it. It was an hour and 20 minutes, and I said this online when watching it. People don't... I don't know who this was for. People online, or people don't even want hour-long pressers from Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo.
Sure.
People want the information delivered to them in a quick, snappy way that is going to keep their attention. I feel like this was potentially targeted at people that he's already convinced. So convincing the already convinced, and potentially investors, because there was a lot of stuff in there that I'm watching and I'm like, why would anyone who wants to buy this product care about these things that you're telling me for an hour and 20 minutes?
Why would a consumer care that you have a customer service rep?
Let's stay on Tommy's line. This is for people that are apparently not into games normally. Mm-hmm. They're casual, and they are people who might be getting into games for the first time. Families don't care about brand partners.
No.
Families don't care about the controller. Families don't care about Mattel's history with Intellivision.
Which was heavily in the intro, Mattel's history.
Yeah,
of Intellivision. Intellivision's history, but yeah.
They do not care about those sorts of things. I don't know. It was scattershot and all over the place. It was absolutely unorganized.
All filler, little killer.
Right.
Almost no killer, I would argue.
Yes, that presentation could have been truncated down to half an hour, no problem.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, things like, and I want to, say that I'm not trying to sound harsh on any of these devs.
They're showing 40-year-old pictures of like Christmas.
Yes. Right. This is a guy who's not leaning on nostalgia.
That's what we're always told.
That's what we're always told.
Can we stop? Can we just call Tommy a liar at this point when it comes to stuff?
Yeah,
he's a liar.
You're leaning on nostalgia.
It's all nostalgia.
I mean, it's all ego stroking and nostalgia, because none of this is going to sell to that target demographic that you swear is out there that you're trying to.
Millennial moms don't know what any of this stuff is.
This is not appealing to any of them.
They never heard of this stuff before. They didn't hear the Intellivoice.
The other thing is, you delay it, then you say that you're going to announce, a bunch of games that we've never seen before, and then you don't show anything. You announce a brand partnership with Sesame Street.
There's Tommy, by the way, when he was a child. That's what leads into him talking.
You announce a Sesame Street game, but don't show it. You announce a Hot Wheels collaboration. You don't show it. You talk about your MLB licensing. You don't show it.
If you want to get into it, I did the due diligence, Ian. I listed on my little pad every game mentioned or shown. I have percentages. Are you ready?
Sure.
So there were 24 titles either shown or mentioned to be coming out. Of those, 8 to 12 are original, in terms of like these are games that we are making, but they're remakes. That's either, we'll say 8 to 12. 4 are ports of pre-existing games. 8 showed no gameplay. So a third were just announced here. A third of your games were just announced. That would be Earthworm Jim 4. That showed no gameplay. That was a tech demo we'll get into. Bomb Squad, talked about it for a few minutes. Didn't show gameplay. Talked about using the controllers. The Hot Wheels license, MLB, Sesame Street, and the 3 board games, Telestrations, Ink and Gold, and Blank Slate. We're just, hey, might be developing these. We have the rights to develop these, but we have no gameplay to show. So because there's such a small amount of these that they actually showed, when they did show like Astro Smash, which by the way was the lead off for some reason, like that's the big killer, they showed like 3 minutes of this thing being played.
Yeah, I thought it was a joke, not
with no explanation of what was happening. Just like, oh, here's the gameplay.
No, it was literally just 3 minutes of cold gameplay. I have no idea who that was supposed to appeal to, or why you would need 3 minutes of gameplay of Astro Smash, other than to just fill time. Like
when you have your leadoff game, it's supposed to be like, hey, this is the killer, like the first and the last games, right? When you do these presentations. What are you thinking? Is this improved from the footage a few months ago? They got rid of the shot coming from underneath like before.
Yeah, no, I mean they did, but it looks. I mean, what am I supposed to say about that? It looks like it might be fun, but that is a mobile quality game.
And when we say mobile quality, again, it's graphics plus simplicity.
And also, I don't
and how deep the game is.
And also, there's lots of actual good games on mobile. I don't mean to constantly sound like I'm shitting on mobile. When I say like mobile quality, I mean like, I'd say mobile shovelware.
Yes.
The stuff that is free to play or 99 cents, and it looks like it's asset flip stuff out of Unity.
Sure. Oh, but you can blow up an asteroid coming to get you there for the multiplayer there. So, yeah. So you have that's the big killer. A lot of dev time. They almost have as much dev talk as showing gameplay, which was an interesting strategy to me.
Yeah, I don't get it, and it's all devs talking about how they love the Amico, but not really showing much of anything.
Well, they never. Well, we'll get into the one time they might have shown something being played. There's a 3-minute segment of this where they literally have everyone blow the controller and say this is the best thing ever. They really don't show the controller being shown played much in this whole entire hour 20 minutes.
No,
there's like some sort of family, I think, playing cornhole on the TV, but it's like a setup like PR shot. So it's like, okay, they're showing something happening there, but you don't see the games being played that they're showing with the controller.
Right.
That you think that'd be a part of the experience to show this off. Which goes back to how far along are they when it comes to... By the way, 2 things that were missing from here. The big hire, Jay Allard. Mm-hmm. Remember Jay Allard? Remember that made waves? Mm-hmm. They showed everyone in the company. Jay Allard, the ex-Microsoft employee, nowhere to be seen the entire video.
Yeah.
Which means I was either correct in saying that was a hire just for a quick PR, and they paid him some money to go away, or he saw the project and said, well, we're not on the same page, or I can't do anything and I'm out. Or Tommy realized, hey, you can't help this project as much as you can, and you're out. Because that was a big deal. There was YouTubers making videos about, they hired Jay Allard. This is a game changer. Well, the guy you hired, you made a video about, doesn't appear in your event at all. Doesn't say anything, does not mention. So this is the Battle Tanks game. So this is basically, this is a remake of the tank, the tank game that was on the Intellivision.
I believe it was called Tank.
Whatever it's called. Like, who remembers?
Tank Attack.
Tank Attack. There's the dev talking about it there. It looks like it could be a fun little 15-minute game to play. Something
I want to say is that lots of these games look like they could be kind of fun to play.
Here's Cornhole.
For a little bit of time. But none of these are selling me on a $250 system.
Cornhole looked to me like, I don't know if this frame rate was off. It looked like it's not 30 frames. I don't know if it's just because of the render. Doesn't that look a little
stuttery? It looks a little off.
Like it's like 20 to 25 frames?
It does. But these are things where I don't even feel like we need to nitpick because there's enough things that are very obvious.
That are out in the open.
Yes.
Okay, so we got Cornhole. By the way, there was no announcing of what the packing games were during this, which goes back to your point. This is an investor video to get confidence to get new investors involved.
Right, and it's not that they haven't said what the pack-in games are. They did. I just don't remember what the hell they are anymore.
Well, they didn't announce the final ones. But that's still not announced.
Well, they announced 5 of them, I think.
Okay, they're missing a couple at this point still.
But either way, you would think that if
I mean, in this video, they didn't run them down specifically.
I know. I'm just saying previously they had.
Yes.
In this video, they did not, which is, if this is a video to sell it to people, you might want to include the pack-in games.
There's a mention of Sesame Street. So when you talk about licenses, it's not going back to.
I want to say something real quick.
Oh.
It drives me nuts when he keeps saying, our retail partners, our branding partners. You buy brands. Anyone with enough money can go and be like, I would like to purchase this Sesame Street license for my game. And you can probably work it out. Same with Mattel. There are entire people who revolve around just buying up licenses. We've talked about it before. Sure. You can go out and buy old licenses. You can buy the rights to use licenses. It's not like people are walking up to Tommy and being like, this is a great fit for Hot Wheels. We got to get our game on Hot Wheels.
That's not how it works.
No, that's not it. But they are doing everything in their power to frame it that way. These aren't your friends. These aren't your pals.
It doesn't mean your product's good because you got a license either.
In fact, most licensed games throughout history have been absolute dog shit. But it's the framing that is, I realize it's sales speak and they have to do some of that.
Do you want to guess how many Hot Wheel games are on the App Store right now?
But these are not your friends.
Do you want to guess how many Hot Wheel games?
15.
No, there's 6.
Yeah. How many MLB games are on the store right now?
They look better than, I don't know if they're going to pair this with Sideswipers.
I think
but it looks better.
I think
that's a 3D game. That looks better than Sideswipers.
I don't care.
I'll look up MLB because they just said, oh, we got the MLB license. That was the first branded baseball game. MLB, I'll look it up right now. Sesame Street's probably 15 to 20. I don't have to that's probably a ton.
Right.
MLB.
These are not exclusive licenses.
MLB Tap Sports Baseball. There's a tap game in there. You go. Get you going. MLB 9 Innings 20. MLB Home Run Derby. MLB Tap Sports. MLB Perfect Inning 2. RBI Baseball 20. Okay, no MLB.
No, RBI Baseball does have the MLB license.
Oh, okay. So you include that. So is that 6? Baseball 9. Does it have the license? I'm not sure if that has it. Baseball Star. Ooh, there's a Baseball Star game. Ooh.
All I'm saying, focus, Patrick.
MLB 9 Innings. So there's like 10.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that the MLB is not like the NFL license even.
No.
Like the MLB license is everywhere. So leaning on that is very weird, and I don't see that grabbing.
It might grab an investor. It won't grab any consumer that's smart at all when it comes to these things.
Right.
An investor might say, oh, you have your shit together. You got the license. There's even more. There's like probably a dozen baseball games with MLB.
That was my point. Like I knew there was a lot. I was fairly certain there was over 10 on the App Store.
I'll put money on it that the over-under for educational Sesame Street apps games is probably 12 to 15. There's 12 to 15 at least.
Sure.
Because that's like everywhere for that. That's the big one. So, they got the American Cornhole League one, so that probably cost them not a huge amount. They're probably like, okay, we want to do this, put our name on this, get it out there. Then you have the 3 board games that they discussed: Ink and Gold, Telestrations, and Blank Slate. I'm not into the tabletop games. I know that some of these are popular, so I guess that's good if they can start development on these. But we'll get into that. The problem with having all these licenses announced, though, is now you are stuck having to you better develop these games. You better come out with these games at some point in time. That costs money, though. It costs you money to potentially get the license. Now we have to develop these games. So that's when I see this happen. When I see 8 games with no real gameplay shown, where are you going to get the money from to do this? You need the investors to help out. So it's chicken and the egg thing. You got to get these licenses to show that we can put out these games, and I need the money to make them.
Yeah.
Unless they get a pre-existing one, which we'll get into here. So we got any thoughts on the 3 board games? Not really.
No, not really.
All right, we'll move on. That's was that Kara Acker talks about this is good for my family, even though I don't know, Kara, you didn't grow up with the Intellivision probably, but okay. Talk to Concrete Software. The Spades game, the card game. Really, here we go. The Spades game. What do you think of when you see this?
I think that they are probably doing the best they can and they care about their game, but it looks like shovelware.
You don't like the art design? It's okay, but again, you're paying $250 to play Spades.
Right.
Oh, they don't show it on the controllers. They show it on
phones.
Phones.
Yes.
The one time you can show the controller being used to demonstrate the unique nature, you're showing your cell phone because you can do it on a cell phone.
But remember, all of these games were at one point in time said to not be doable on any other system.
God.
Even though that many of them appear to be made in Unity, and Unity supports pretty much everything that's out there.
All right, this to me was the highlight. Not Cornhole. I'm bearish on Cornhole. The Breakout game looks interesting.
Yeah, like I said, some of these games definitely look like they could be fun.
It's a rhythm sound Breakout game.
Breakout does look pretty good.
The guy's talking a lot. God, there's so much talking. Here's the game. There's a game. I don't. Oh, that was it. Okay. I thought that was Jay Allard at first when I first saw him. So yeah, the Breakout game. They don't show that much of it. They show like 20 seconds of it. Here it is.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the Breakout game in a previous video, and I think
it looks okay.
Stylistically, it looks fine.
That's an original game at least, so that's good. Did we skip over Liar's Dice? It's just a simple dice game. Okay. You don't care because it's that bad, or
it's just like, Liar's Dice. I mean,
it's just a dice game.
It's a dice game.
What does Jason show off here? Oh my God, there's so much dev talk. Oh, this is when they talked about the controller, I believe, for like 3 minutes, and it's ridiculous.
So
that's the controller talk. Let's skip forward. Oh, here you go. Missile command. The more I see this, no disrespect to the dev, the more I hate that missile command.
Yeah,
it's too busy. It looks like a cramped space. I do not like there being vertical and horizontal missile launchers. It's just way too much going on.
You mean missile launchers at the top and at the bottom?
They have them on the left side of the screen at one point too. See left and right.
Oh,
I see left and bottom. It's a lot going on for a missile command. To me, missile command is about simplicity versus like there's too much trails going on. It's just I can't follow it, and I like missile command. I mean, maybe they could button this up. It's all 4 sides at that point with the launchers. That's a lot going on there. But okay, so that's at least an original game. This, however, is not.
So Finnegan Fox.
This was bizarre to me watching this.
This was. They really
they show the concept art for some game that's supposed to be original.
That's supposed to be original, but it's not. Finnegan Fox is, if you look it up, there's a Wikipedia page for Fox and Forest is the name of the game. And it looks almost exactly the same, uses these exact same enemies. This is not concept art for the game
Amico
they're showing.
This
is as far as I can tell, because right down to the enemies are the same in Fox and Forest, including the bats. Like the bats they show, you can see the enemies that they show in this concept art in Fox and Forest. It says that a follow-up to Fox and Forest is those bats are in the original game. A follow-up to Fox and Forest is being created for the Intellivision Amico.
Here's the only gameplay they show. This is concept gameplay that literally shows one screen. He jumps up and down. So when I first saw this, I was like, this looks like an interesting sort of idea. I guess you can change the seasons to change the gameplay and the scenery. But then I saw the original Fox and Forest games, which is like 16-bit type of sprite art, which looks better than this.
Yeah, it looks way nicer than that. I don't know what they're going for with this.
This looks like a fucking CDI
game
or 3DO platform from like '96.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Why would you ruin the initial art design of the game by doing this? But you're basically painting over your old game.
Yeah, Fox and Forest actually looks pretty nice. The game got so-so reviews. I think it's got
a few years ago.
Yeah, I think it came out a couple years ago. I think it got like 77 on Metacritic. People said that the weather changing mechanics
was pretty cool.
Were neat. And I think the graphics, honestly, for this original Fox and Forest look pretty great. Like there's
16-bit indie style.
Yeah,
A little more advanced. Why would I don't know. Why would you change the entire design around when your original Intellivision system, Ian, is like known for like, it has the pixel style, the Running Man. Like, why wouldn't you lean on that a little bit for some of these
That's
games?
my thinking is why would you try to make it look cheaper?
It looks cheaper now. If I was the devs, I would say why can't we just put your game on here? Does it have to be a different, like, why?
Because well,
it has to be exclusive version.
Because Tommy is still leaning on these being exclusive games when
they're not.
They're not. Sure, maybe in some way, shape, or form there is something that's exclusive, but he's really, really leaning on these smallest details, changing things.
So this is not gameplay. I mean, this is a proof of concept to a game that does exist.
Yes.
If you're going to change around all the fucking graphics, wow. Okay. Now we come up to, I'm going to be as nice as I could possibly be to the devs. You come to Evel Knievel. Evel Knievel is a 5-year-old mobile game. It is. You can get it for free. It did not do well in the App Store according to number of downloads for a free game. They talked to the devs. I'm sure they're nice people.
It's also a 5-year-old game that is based upon many other games.
Yes.
That have already come out.
Oh, there's literally on my smart TV, you can play games like that where you're tilting around. Literally built-in smart TV games.
Big ones would be Joe Danger and the Trials series of games.
Sure. So I'm sure these are nice folks that do that, but this is not. You should not be spending up to $300 to play a game that's 5 years old and free. You just that it's an embarrassment in that respect.
And this is one that they're leaning on.
Yes, because they spent 10 minutes between talking to the devs, showing, by the way, we're not a violent system. Let's show a guy almost literally dying during it. We're not for violence, Ian. This is them, not me. They showed that one, and they showed the one where he broke like 40 bones. The Vegas one. You ever see the Vegas one where he flips over? He almost fucking died. Evel Knievel. So then they spend 5 minutes talking to Evel Knievel's son. I'm sure he's a nice dude. I'm sure he is. But at this point, you have to ask, like, what are we doing? Why do consumers? You're trying to teach them about something that happened 50 years ago? Like, why are we doing this?
Yes, why are we suddenly getting a history lesson?
Is this to troll me because I pointed out this game specifically as, like, this should not be on a game console? Like, I don't understand the tripling down on this. Then, they show his dad. I mean, I'm sure it's like if you never knew of Evel Knievel, which is most people under the ages of 40 never heard of Evel Knievel at this point. Yes, is this one where he almost died? No. They showed a lot of him crashing, which I thought was strange. Again, it's not a violent system, but we're showing snuff film footage almost on our investor video here. So, more talk. They show him being carted to the emergency room in this video. Oh my God. I didn't see that the first time. I skipped over it. I had to watch this on 2x speed. They show the toys. It's so much time. Then they show the game. There's the game, Ian. So they go back to the game, which is probably, I'm not sure it's stuff from the trailer again, because originally they pulled trailer footage on here. We don't see most of this stuff actually running on an Amico. Wonder why. It goes on forever. It's like 10 minutes. They talk about the retail partners. It'll be at Walmart.com for sale. That's what they say. That's the big announcement. Walmart.com. Talking about getting it.
This is where I see a lot. This is another place where I see a lot of disconnect. Who cares?
Who cares that you're partnering with retailers, a certain online location like Best Buy or Walmart.
Again, these businesses exist to sell stuff.
So this is the show off of Bomb Squad, where they talk about things the controller could do with the game, but you don't see any gameplay happening on this. Like, that's the thing. You don't see, and he's not even holding an Amico controller.
No.
When he's showing this off. He's holding some sort of, looks like a smartphone type of device. Talking about the old Bomb Squad and saying, oh, you'll be able to interact with the lights on here. You'll be able to do this and that.
I mean, if I give this all the benefits of the doubt, I could see that being fun. But It doesn't show anything.
But we're not in development yet on this. Like, there's nothing to show. Like, why talk about it?
Right.
This is a what if. This is like 3 minutes long. Are we okay? This is the Rocket League sort of game, the space game called Space Strike. It's actually an interesting sort of concept in terms of like you wing around, use I guess gravity to wing around the ball to score a goal. But you know what I thought of when I heard of this? I want to see a Rocket League in space.
Sure.
Like an actual Rocket League in space. Maybe that'll be a future thing by our local pals to do from Psyonix. At least this isn't a sort of original concept. But again, it's a simple game. Like it's at least to me, this if you want to call this a highlight, I'd call this a highlight more than anything else.
Yeah,
it's a cute little idea.
I think it looks fun, but again, like I said, if I'm going to be realistic with the money I'm going to spend, none of these games are making me go, I gotta spend $250 on this system.
Oh, absolutely. No, I come back. You come back to that unfortunately all the time. Like this is a game that if you put this on the Switch shop, maybe a lot of people buy it for $5.
Right.
You know, they buy it for like $5. I'm not sure what it's going to cost there. All right, we are most of the way through. Here's a customer service rep. I don't know why I have to see you in the video. I'm sure you're nice. The customer experience person, Brittany. I'm sure you're nice. You don't belong in the video. Okay, we're at the Nitro Derby. So, Ian, Nitro Derby, remember this is one of the games I said this looks really polished back in, was it March?
Yeah.
This is a pre-existing
game. Well, it was supposed to.
It was a made game.
It was a made game for a
VR company.
For a VR company that apparently did not come out.
So, when you see the gameplay, this is the VR gameplay because you see the person, like, it's moving around like you're moving your head when you're watching it go. Once
The
it starts
VR
racing.
company's name is still on the banners.
Oh, on the racetrack.
Yeah, on the racetrack.
So we were watching the VR version. This is not the Amico running this.
No, this is not the Amico version.
So the one thing I'll say is that, yeah, it looks like a polished little super sprint type of game. How do you make that into the Amico version if it's a VR game where the map, you have to move your head to see where your racer is? Here it goes. So you follow, you have a helmet strapped on, you're watching it go. They're trying to cut around it, but look, it zooms out, it comes back in. That would be a tough, they're doing a lot of cuts.
That's absolutely
That's VR.
Yeah.
That's absolutely VR. How do you make this into a single screen game if it's multiplayer? Can you do that? Because you don't see this whole racetrack on the screen at one time.
I'm sure they can find a way. You maybe just have to do a fixed look
how close
view.
Look how close in it is.
Yeah, but or maybe that's what the screen on the controller.
So you look
is
on your
for.
controller and play it.
That would
look
be.
At that. That's not even half the racetrack there. I mean, it kind of looks okay. The more I look at it, the colors are kind of muddled, but it looks like it could be okay. I like super sprint type of games, but again, we got to develop the game for the Amico. We got to do it. It's one of the games that's a port. One of the 4 that's a port, and we have one more left to go. That's a port, and it's funny. Is it the next one that comes up? Nitro Derby. So here it is. So Rigid Force Redux. So this is a game that's on Switch, Xbox.
Yep.
I'm guessing on PS4.
Yes, they're bringing an exclusive multiplayer mode to the Amico. That's what makes it exclusive.
This is all trailer footage that they pulled for this. This is not.
Right.
This is a trailer. Because there's review quotes in here from like Nintendo Life. Guarantee you, Nintendo Life did not play the Amico version. They probably played it on the Switch.
Right.
So what are we looking at here? Do we know that the Amico can run it and have it look as good as this?
What they're doing is they're selling us on a game that we don't need to buy an Amico for. We can go out and buy it right now for our Switch.
I mean, that's something we haven't brought up. Is there a game that we are seeing here that would have to make concessions to run on a little Android box? I don't know. In terms of graphic power, I mean, this isn't like cutting edge graphics, but it's not nothing a game like this. So this is the 4th game that's a port that has to be made here. We have not seen so far any of the 4 German funded games. The $500,000 taken from the Bavarian fund that was Pong, Ian, Shark, Skiing, and Moon Patrol. So 2 of those games are packed in, I believe, Shark, and Skiing. The Pong was the embarrassing looking one that we have not seen footage of since, with the footballs and stuff.
Yeah.
That looked terrible. And the Moon Patrol one, which is their app. So those are the 4 German ones, by the way. So when you look at the numbers, we'll see Skiing in a second. When you look at the numbers, Ian, there's only 8 games out of all of these you can say that are being funded partially or in full by Intellivision. 8 out of the 24 games that we know of right now that we can say these are games that exist in some form. Because you can't count the German ones. And the reason I bring that up is because how much money do you have to make these new games?
Right.
How much money do you have to make the games, the MLB game, and the Sesame Street game, and the Bomb Squad?
Oh, and the Fox and Forest is also a German game.
Is it? But that's a pre-existing game at least that they're just plastering over, basically. All right. Oh, here we have the. We have shots of family doing something with a controller here. I don't know what.
I'm assuming that was cornhole.
It's
cornhole.
Do we see a console in the picture?
I don't think so. I don't know.
And then they show some games in development real quick. The Bomberman, I think, type of game. There's the embarrassing Pong game. Here, worldwide partners. We don't care. Okay, here's the hardware part here. So I'm not sure if this is a direct response to Ian and I a month ago saying we don't think a console exists. And again, a console, our definition was plug it in, boot it up from scratch, load up your menu, launch a game, play the game. We're about to see does not qualify for that, and we'll show you why. But this is a little kind of weird slapstick little sequence. I don't know if you watched it where Tommy, what's this? What's a polycarbonate? I don't know. Or you're the CEO, even though it's funny. It's stupid to say that. The spring goes out of his hand. Oh, it springed out of my hand. So then he shows it. He shows this on standby here, this console. If I can get through this fucking routine. Oh, this has a spring. We have our stuff going on. We're making a console. Here are some parts on the table. Again, you would not show consumers this. Who the hell cares? You would hope you're making a console or developing a console.
Right. Moving on.
Well, I'm just trying to get to what the main point of it is here. When he gets to the TV. Jesus Christ. So it's in sleep mode, the console. And he says that, Tommy. It's in sleep mode. And he hits the button to wake it up in a second here. This is very important because there's a sequence that happens here I want to show you. So it's not booted up from scratch. So why is that important real quick? Okay, we go to the Amico. We cut to the Amico, close up. He hits the sleep button. It comes back onto the menu. And then he picks up a controller. You see the menu there, the little Android menu. He goes to the games here. So it brings him out of sleep mode, which is nice. He's going to select skiing. Cuts the controller. So this is why it was important to say, is this console fully functional? Because if you boot from cold, Ian, what that tells you is that the drivers and everything is all natively loaded. It can run your software without any load up from like a Linux fucking prompt. Everything is ready.
All this means is that it was put into a comfortable state and then slept.
Yeah. It was probably loaded into an Android emulator and it was slept. You bring it back. So what does it tell you though, potentially? We don't see the game loading from the menu. It cuts. That menu might just be a graphic mockup that's not connected at all to anything.
Right.
Potentially. We have to say that because we don't see it load. It goes to the controller. Why not show the game loading? And now we're at the menu already. And he does play the game for 30 seconds. So there you go. So we do have the controller playing a game. We do not see the system boot up from scratch, which is important. And we do not, because hell, Ian, you still have the job listing still for 2 positions that were supposed to be for accessories that we did not see any accessories mentioned or brought up at all. And the two positions, Ian, again, were for the senior game console firmware developer and the embedded Android software developer. They would probably help to have that system boot up and load the games from a menu. And those positions are still available and open as of today, August 11th, when we're recording that. So that's not a gotcha to me, Ian, or anything. That to me is desperation when I see that.
Yeah.
There's Moon Patrol. I tried playing it, the updated one on my phone. I couldn't with the controls. It was tough. It's impossible to play on your phone. It's just not responsive. You were more down on this than me. I thought it looked okay. You were kind of down on this.
I just don't like the cheap 3D aesthetic at all.
You would rather just stick with even an updated Pixel 16-bit version.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's one of the things, Ian, that when I see a console like this that bothers me the most, when you see like kind of like quickly produced games and honestly a lot of games that failed elsewhere or are ported over elsewhere, like the Evel Knievel game or Finnegan Fox, that we're going to bring that over here. You don't have any uniformed art direction to any of these games. It's just whatever whatever we can load up into Unity assets. And
I was going to say, it all looks like what is known as asset flip, which is basically doing as little work on the art and stuff as possible, using pre-existing stuff, throwing it together, making a game to ship out for cash.
The problem with that, though, is that, like, as a consumer, like, when you look at, like, all the Nintendo games, Ian, that they produce, you could make an argument, oh, well, they kind of look like they exist in the same world, kind of, graphically. Like, they're in the ballpark. That's why when you see Smash Brothers, it makes sense. They bring all these characters in. They don't have to change them too much, from Mario to Link to Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like, every game is its own thing. There's nothing that crosses over to me besides, well, it looks like a mobile-style game. Like, that's it, that we can make cheaply. They show a lot of Moon Patrol. They play like 3.5 minutes of Moon Patrol. And then we close out to, Ian, the denouement is a 5-minute conversation with Tommy and 5 of the Earthworm Jim developers. They talk for like 5 minutes on Zoom here. And this was why supposedly they delayed this event, to show something of Earthworm Jim. Earthworm Jim is supposed to be the killer app. This is the Breath of the Wild of the Nintendo Switch that they are purporting to do. So I think conspicuous in his absence, I don't think Doug TenNapel is there, because obviously he's a controversial figure at this point.
He's a piece of shit. Doug, you're a piece of shit.
And unfortunately, when they bring up Earthworm Jim now in all these articles, unfortunately, they bring up Doug TenNapel and his since he's a creator.
Well, Doug TenNapel is a great fit for a family-friendly console.
Well, they're trying to distance themselves. They're trying to say, well, he was just involved in the original brainstorming meeting, where he's not involved anymore. That's what they're trying to say. So they literally talked for 5 minutes. I don't know why you would do this. It's 5 minutes. And then this is what we get. We get a 30-second tech demo. It's not gameplay. Like, it's not an example game. It's a not even pre-alpha. It's a running animation of Earthworm Jim on the street.
It doesn't really even... I don't know why it's worth... I mean, it's more embarrassing that they put this up as opposed to saying the game is still coming.
Yes. I mean, cool. It's animation. It's cool. It looks decent.
You see him...
He runs left.
Run left, run right. That's it.
And then no gameplay. They're going to try to say, oh, this is gameplay. This is a proof of concept. This is not gameplay.
Well, it's funny, too, because they already said that it wasn't supposed to be a platformer, and now they're trying to show us this proof of concept that looks platformer. They don't know what the fuck they're doing with this. They have no idea.
There's nothing developed.
Well, just like everything, and that's the big problem with the system. Everything is still being talked about. Very little is actually being developed. That's my guess.
So even if the hardware was totally done to ship this in October, you have... none of the games that you're talking about ready to go anyway. So you had to have pushed it one way or the other.
Breakout looks like it would probably be ready to go. Cornhole, Astro Smash, skiing.
Maybe Moon Patrol.
Moon Patrol.
And Shark, the ones they got the German developers working on last year because they got the funding for it.
Sure.
We don't know where the funding is for the rest of these games. There was a lot of stuff. We didn't see that much update. The Bomberman thing we saw for a second. We saw the Night Stalker for like a couple of seconds. Where's the updates on those? They're supposed to have 20 games at launch, I believe. I don't think they have 20 games finished right now.
I thought they were supposed to have more than that.
But okay, let's say minimum 20 if you count the pack-in ones.
Sure.
They didn't show 20 games being played here. I don't think, when you add them all up. 8, 4, 4.
I don't trust your pat math, but either way, it's not a good look.
It's not a good look. So whether or not COVID, I would say the COVID thing is BS, and because the Atari VCS is still being produced.
COVID is absolutely something that is screwing up production and timelines, but this is supposed to have been in work for 2 years now.
2 years.
And another system that we've been very hard on, the Atari VCS.
And some people are claiming we haven't been hard on the VCS for some reason.
We've been incredibly hard on the VCS.
It's fucking insane. You don't watch or follow the podcast. Sorry.
Yeah, or you're just trying to pick and choose, because I've never said anything positive about the Atari VCS.
But the VCS is getting produced. They've played it in public. People have played it in public. The VCS. As bad as you want to trash the VCS.
I'm still going to trash the VCS because releasing doesn't mean anything to me. It's still a garbage item.
But they're coming out during COVID.
Right.
They had their ducks in a row, at least for that. There's still no reason potentially to own it, but that'll be in people's hands before the Amico. Like that dumpster fire is still going to come out. That's the whole point there. So yeah. So we've been talking about this for like a half hour now when it comes to this. And like I said, this isn't our opinion. CNET, you go on Reset Aeroforms, NeoGAF, most of the consensus is that yes, this does not look good. Now, why again? If all these games are just announced and not completed, why do the event now? Why not just do a press release saying we have to push this console back because of COVID? Why bother doing this video now? Why not wait until December? Maybe you have a lot more footage to show of your games. You can talk about your fucking Hot Wheels game or a Sesame Street game. Or
because they were going to get if they didn't do something, they would have gotten negative feedback. So they had to try to do something with
from
what
who
they had.
though? From the people they took the pre-order money from?
Probably, yes. That's my guess.
Okay.
I mean, there are people who were all about this console who are less about it now after seeing it. It would not have been good for them to push it off. He was screwed either way. He either pushed it off and got shit for that, or he had to put
show
out this
something.
video. Yeah, he had to show something.
I think they need money from investors to keep these games, keep this afloat.
Yes.
And to make these new games. That's why they need to. This is not a consumer video. This is an investor confidence pitch video. Hey, we have people in place, customer service. We have global retail partners. We have people working all over the world for some reason. I don't know what they're doing in these parts of the world, but they're setting up maybe distribution chains, things like that. To give me confidence as an investor, here's my $5 million to make sure you can create these consoles and start up some of these games to get there. I think they're in trouble. This is not a scam. People trying to put words in our mouth. We say this game. We have never said this was a scam.
No, I never said it was a scam.
But this is becoming a house of cards, though.
It's a fucking mess. That's what it is.
It's a precarious house of cards that any one thing goes wrong, this is sunk. I think an investor or two pulled out earlier in the year, probably even before COVID, for whatever reason. They don't have the money, I think, to get to market, potentially. At least not with all these games. I think they're in trouble. And they need investors. That's my professional opinion.
Well, that's one, we've been on this for too long, but that would be my last thing, is that they keep trying to announce games and brand partners in this, that, and the next thing, and it's like, you need to get your system out. Focus on that.
Sure.
I mean, at this point, I feel like there's been 40 games promised.
Yeah, we saw, there was stuff on the Gamescom trailer last year. There was like a cat fighting game or something that we haven't heard of since. There was games they showed that we have not heard or seen of since that.
Yeah.
There's been many games. So we don't know where things are at or what's actually going to be out in April. Do you think it's going to come out in April? Are you still sure this is actually going to come out now? Or do you think they're in trouble? A little more trouble?
I think Tommy will make sure something gets released in a box that he says he can call it an Intellivision Amico. I don't think April is when it's going to come out. And they say, when they announce it, they say that is their new target date. So I think even they realize that April is not going to, is not for sure. If
it comes around to March and this is still not pushed back or announced that, I mean, the pre-order numbers are probably anemic. They are on the Fig site. They don't mention Fig at all. I don't know what they are if GameStop's going to be around when this launches from GameStop. That's a whole conversation I asked. What happens to my pre-order money if GameStop goes under? Anyway, I'm gonna say 50-50. I'll say under 50-50 this comes out in April. I'll say it's like 30% chance it comes out in April. I think it'll get pushed back. I think you'll wait 5 months. You'll see a little development in some of these games. And they're going to push it back, especially if they don't get an investor. If they don't get an investor, they're in the exact same spot they are now.
Sure.